Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to ERO PS F3, the final race of the season in Interlagos in Brazil. It seems to be a bit wet out there, but we'll start qualifying soon with the first driver out. So we have 12 on the grid today for our final race of the season, a lot from different tiers, from F4 and F5. As the championship stands, Lockett currently leads, followed by Reloaded, who is not here today to the best. Oh, he is. Sorry. No, he's not here. Okay. Lockett currently leads. Crystal is also there. And then banked in fourth. Today's double points to the best of my knowledge. So Crystal has actually a chance to win the championship. Lockett will have to DNF and Crystal will have to win. But we're right on board with our first driver, which is not Kiziak. It is actually Yeast, the commentator for F4 who wasn't there last night. Very sad. Okay, so Interlagos itself. So many turns to the left, so many turns to the right. 15 in total. And we will ride on board with him for Yeast's outlap. And he will be the first person across the line as well. As he's going around now, and he's about to take turn 12 and the imaginary 13, 14, 15. So everybody on Inter is assuming right. Coming up to turn 1 and turn 2, the Senna S complex, taking this quite carefully in third gear. Doesn't want to lose traction there, doesn't want to invalidate on the out of that. Coming to turn 3, Curva del Sol, and then the first DRS straight, which will not be used. Has a slight moment there, going to Reta Oposta, and then into turn 4, Decidia do Lago. Very famous turn there, corner there, where Verstappen and Hamilton were dancing a few years ago. Now coming up to Fedora, Curva de Lania, 7, 6 and 7. Now to turn 8. This is probably one of the trickiest areas for traction in the game, actually. Very easy to lose the car there. Turn 9, Pinheirinho. Okay. Keeping it quite steady here. Coming to turn 10. Slowest turn on the track, which is called Pico de Pato. Turn 11 now, Mergulho. He's coming in. Finally, turn 12. Yeah, not too bad. And that will just about do it. I'm not sure about the wet times here. Normally a good time here is in and around 108 or sub 108. When we dry, and Yeast gets us off by setting a 115.8. Next driver across the line is going to be Kiziak, and he is going to set a 116.7, followed by, is that Crystal? It is Crystal. As Enduro goes faster. Fatney coming out of the pits. The king himself. As Lockett is starting his lap now. Such a nice track, Interlagos. As Extinct sets a 125.9, he's obviously had a moment there. Enduro 8/10s faster than Yeast. So maybe he has a wet setup. Maybe we don't know the weather for the rest of the race, but maybe maybe the setups are just different here. Banked goes second fastest with a 15.2. Lockett's got a bit of traffic in front of him. Get out of the way, son. Good job. Coming up to turn 8. Been very consistent all season, Locking. He's just he's went from strength to strength, really. Second last week in France. The week before he's won in Imola, and then second again in Hungary, and the week before that he's won in Singapore. Very, very solid. Now he just has to hit this last 2 turns correctly, and he set a purple sector 2. He's taking a lot of curb there. And what is he going to set? He's going to set 114. Wow, 114.8. That's great. Thank you, Cameron, for telling me Endura Skirbex is Skirbex. Okay. Okay, so locking on provisional pole. Nothing we haven't seen before already. And the only 3 drivers left to set a time are Fatnik, Ivan, and Pinzio. As Fatnik is currently on a lap. Most of the drivers going back into the pits after their first run around. I think Banks is coming back with the line, but he's way up. Kiziak, can he improve in his time? No, he's going back into the pits. And Ivan is 7/10 up on his time, apparently. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3 as it looks like Fatnik has come off the track. Yep, so Brazil, one of those tracks where it's a bit like Hungary, where it's essentially a large go-karting track. The ebb and flow of the track is very much like that, and it's something you don't see a lot in modern day Formula 1. That's probably why it always produces one of the best races of the year. Great track for action all around. You'd be very careful in turn 1 at the start because it's quite narrow, but it's a fun track. As Ivan is about to cross the line, and we'll see what he sets. It's probably not going to be pole or even top 5. Top 7, 1:15.9. Where's my 2 seconds on? Next is Banked, who is up on his time, and he sets a 1:15.1 to set him provisional P3. Very good. Very good. As the yellow flag in Sector 2 of the Mercedes, I think they're extinct, has come off. As we have Bastian Vries here from F5. Changing his wing setup today to a lower configuration. Let's see what Bastian can do. Hits that quite nicely from what we can see. Can he challenge the boys in F3? Representing F5 today. And he goes into the pits. No, he doesn't. Oh, okay. It looked like he was going into the pits. It's very wide there. 1:17. Yeah, improves by a second. So as we said today, it is the last race of the season in F3, and as a result of that, because they aren't going to do Monza and Jeddah as the yellow flag in Sector 3, there's double points offering today. So as it stands, Paul Adler locking has 227 points, Reloaded has 204, and Crystal has 178. So statistically speaking, Crystal can win the championship today. Locking just has to DNF, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. Stranger things have happened. First championship to be sealed last night was F5, PS F5, actually by yours truly. Myself and Joseph Hearn had a great little battle all race until Joe spun, but we won't talk about that. Finally goes sailing into the pits. Pit entry looks reasonably okay. Pinzio, the only driver yet to set a time. F4, the title fight is still very alive there between Jack Bailey, Enes Safari, Ruminek, and I think Barry Kruger is still in the hunt as well. He's a bit far behind. No, Jack is a commanding position there with 2 races to go, leading by 27 points. Regarding the Constructors' Championship here, well, it's already done because Aston Martin have everything wrapped up, leading by 90 points going to this last race, and Patrick Varga is the only driver for AlphaTauri, but Ivan is here for 80 today. And there's been something happening in turn 1 as Ivan has gone wide, letting drivers through. Yarninho, the PS F4 driver, normally in the Alpine, I think. Correct? He's, yeah, normally in the Alpine. Today he's in the Ferrari. There's a lot of traffic now in Sector 2. A lot of time still to get your best lap attempt or track time out. So people don't need to be rushing just yet. Nino letting Kiziak through. As Lockie goes even faster now, setting a 14.5. Great stuff from him. He's 7 tenths up in his time. That's not right. No, he's 2 tenths. Let's see if there's any other drivers out in the lap. I want to follow them. Locking's probably only in the lap. This could be Crystal starting. Going into turn 4 here. Steadily. Oh! Has a moment there, and that's probably going to be him aborting his lap. Yeah. Just turn the battery off straight away. Okay. Going in again as Pinzio has come off the track. The wet weather conditions proving slightly difficult for the F3 drivers. Brazil, similar to Spa, has a lot of elevation changes. Not as dramatic as Spa, obviously, but it does go quite high up and down. Particular fan favorite. A lot of people consider this track one of the better circuits on the calendar each year. I think it's the second best track after Suzuka. But that's just personal preference. Hopefully we can get a bit of weather scouting and find out what the race will be like. As Crystal is going to try this again, and we were right on board with him. Going down Oretta Oposta. Straight into the City del Lago. That is fine this time, much better than last time. Tricky complex here due to the wet weather. He's going to have a lot of understeer. He has clear traffic in front of him as well. Six tenths up in his time. Takes a lot of curve there though. And that is going to put him in around the P3 mark. There isn't a lot of time to gain from Sector 3, unfortunately. It's quite small, it's quite short. And that's going to be a 140. Wow! Wow! 114.4. Lovely stuff from Crystal. It's the sound of the police. Good stuff from him. Now Lockig and Skirvex are going to have to answer back. Doesn't seem to be very heavy rain though this time. Other drivers out in the lap. Sebastian currently 2 tenths up on his or down on his time. And he has banked right behind him as well, so a bit of traffic. Quickly banked isn't on a lap himself. And he's let banked through. It says Pierre back is invalidated according to the track map. right on board with banked. Oh, he stopped using that as well. As Lockheed is going to prepare to come out for his final attempt at this season getting goal. Isn't a whole lot of spots to bin the car on this track, but the Senna S complex is one of those places. There and turn 6 to 8 complex. Again, it is possible to lose the car, and then finally, just before turn 12, where the curbing changes, has a slight dip, you can lose the car there and spin off into oblivion. And if you do spin off into oblivion into the grass, there is a chance you get a 10-second penalty for corner cutting or track violations, which is nonsense, but it's all part of the game. So Bastian starting sector 2 now. As Extinct Body has decided to join us, welcome. It's going to be very quick if he wants to go out for a lap though. And Bastian's coming into sector 3 now, and he is half a second down up in his time. It's good stuff. And he's tired. Maybe he's lost. It looks like he's lost the car on track. That's great stuff from Vries. Doesn't get him out of the bottom, unfortunately, as we are going to ride on board now with Locking. He was in sector 2. I did not see his sector 1 time, unfortunately. Because he is on a second out lap by the looks of it. So he wants to get just in time for the line. Going to be a bit of traffic here now. He has to be careful. Just give himself enough space, and we will ride on board with Lockheed to see how he replies to Crystal. Crystal has also started his last lap, as he has a bit of a moment there in turn 1. Lockheed attacking Crystal, or attacking turn 1 now into turn 2. All very, very clean from him, as we've come to expect all season long. Qualifying. 2 Aston Martin boys are going head to head as there's a car off the track. I think that was Pinzio. As Squarebex goes provisional P1 now. I think Crystal's messed up, and has, unfortunately. What did his teammates do now, heading towards the line? It's going to be very, very close. So it's not going to be good enough, is it? I don't think so. It's only second for Locking. Wow, so Skurbex takes pole position here. So just around here are top 10. Skurbex, then Locking, Crystal, Pinzio, Yeast, Yarninho, Ivan Belov, Banked, Kiziek, and Fatnik. Extinct Body actually managed to set a time. Oh, good job. And Vries in 12th. Bastian saying in the chat that he was close to P1. You're a last lad. And 36 laps of racing following. Hopefully the weather is dry. And it looks reasonably dry in comparison to what we just had. So, will the setups have been different? Have people went for a dry setup? expect most people to start in the mediums. But there has been a few people this year who've opted to start in the hards more often, just because the undercut is so powerful in this game compared to in previous years. One, two, three, 4, 5 red lights. And they are off, and the predicted pit stop strategy has come at the wrong time. As we can see, Lockheed and Enduro. Lockheed's gotten a good start, so is Enduro going to turn 1. Everyone seems to keep it safe, as Pinzio has retired from the session already, as Crystal has dropped down 2 places. Ivan has gotten 8 places up, and everybody else seems to have gotten a clean enough start. And that's led us already to a safety car. Well, that was quite quick. We didn't even see what happened, unfortunately. As Vries has made 4 positions up, being the biggest beneficiary of that start. Followed by Yeast. Crystal's down 1 place, and Fatnik is down 1 place. Now, if we can find out what happened there, that would be great. And as you said, today's predicted pit stop strategy usually going to be a medium to hard here. We can have a look and see what tyres people are on. Quite a few drivers opting for the hards. Predicting not many safety cars at the start. Usually the pit time for the medium runners is about lap 16. This will be extended now because of the safety car, as Yeast has gone into the pits, presumably with wing damage. We can't see here though, as he's gone to the hards now, and he's been kept. That was a long stop, and it's like caught up. So kind of a bit of a false start there, or lull, should we say, to our chaotic start. We actually missed everything. I'm sure we'll hear what's happened before. So some facts about Interlagos itself. The first Brazilian Grand Prix was held in 1972. And in 1973 it was won by Emerson Fittipaldi, who also won it in 74. He was one of 5 Brazilians to win at this track. Most recently, last year, we had George Russell winning here in a fantastic battle with Lewis Hamilton. The year before was Hamilton himself. Alan Prost has the most wins here, with 6 in total. Then Michael Schumacher and Carlos Reutemann both have 4 each, followed by Vettel and Hamilton with 3. Then there's multiple winners with 2, including the likes of Nico Rosberg, Mark Webber, Felipe Massa, Juan Pablo Montoya, Mika Hakkinen, of course Ayrton Senna, who has the and we are back racing already. Enduro has seemed to have gotten away quite cleanly. Did no DRS now for the first 2 laps, and nearly everybody is going to be in DRS range here. And the closest action here is between Yarninio and Ivan. And Kiziak is rapidly closing in on Bastian, who might consider making a move. And he is using... blocking now sets the fastest lap, but that will obviously change as conditions develop. So when DRS does get activated, there is going to be quite the train forming here from P4 all the way to P10. As Kiziak is desperately trying to get past Rees here. And is he going to make a move into turn 4? He is on the outside, inside, and he thinks about it. Backs out last second. Because it's a double DRS zone here, it can be quite hard to make the move stick if you're overtaking into turn 1. And it's usually better to do it into turn 4. As there is no DRS for the driver to come back at you straight away. Ivan quite close to the back of Yarninio. As there's a yellow flag in sector 2, I think that's Fatnik who's gone off again. It is. The rest of the drivers sticking quite closely here. Skurbex is kind of foiling the Aston Martin party by the looks of it. He's set a purple sector 2 and he's quite in command. And we are looking for the... Is there going to be a new fastest lap as well? It is. Now we have DRS now enabled, and we said that train is going to start forming as Ivan has gotten past Yarninio into turn 1. Fatnik has gotten a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, you naughty boy. And he's retired from the session. Must have had a rolling damage or something of the like. As further back in the field, East is right in the back of Extinct. And Bastian has seemed to have lost Yarninio. He's pulling away from him, almost outside of DRS range, and banked as well. So, gaps beginning to form. Lockig is keeping with Skurbex, and Crystal is trying his best to stay within DRS, that 1 second gap. As Kiziak is the closest driver, again on the back of Bastian. Lockig now sits fastest lap, and he is making a move into turn 1, is he? No, he's going to stick behind him and wait and bide his time. Two of them exact same amount of battery as well. And he is going to go for it right now. With the drag reduction system activated, and he is using his ERS. This is the worst angle ever, but he has made the move stick into turn 4. But here comes back Skurbex side by side going into turn 6. Lockig on the inside. Be very, very careful here. Very clean from the two of them there. That was great racing. Amazing stuff as Crystal is just watching his back. As Skurbex has made the move and he's going to let it stick now. This is excellent stuff from the two of these guys here. Oh, whereas Lockig just rides the curb a bit too much there. And he's going to be under pressure from his teammate now. He has a significant battery advantage on him. Skurbex is going to be the only one without DRS here. But nobody is using battery smartly enough. As... camera angles, man. As Lockig is right on the back of Skurbex here. Again, like we said in quali, you don't make the move into turn 1 because you can't let it stick. Make it stick. Skurbex going off the racing line and back onto it as Lockig has made his move and he's gotten it before the corner. Skurbex is right back on him again, side by side action. Crystal has the best seat in the house to this. These two are going hammer and nail at it. This is fantastic stuff. Very, very clean as well. This is great to watch. Lockig's used a lot of battery here. Skurbex has used hardly any since we last checked. This is the battle to watch at the moment. Nothing else really happening. Bank is closing in on Ivan, but these three drivers are in a league of their own at the moment. Bank is using as Crystal is closing in on Lockig. Rocking closing in again, but doesn't have enough road to perform the overtake. If you're Crystal here, you kind of just have to bide your time, see how this pans out between the two drivers in front of you, and just wait for the big mistake or the big compromise. Because there's not much he can do at the moment. He's stuck behind two very quick drivers, and well, he can't overtake two of them at once in this situation. But when you do defensive driving, you go off the main line. It does compromise you and leave you vulnerable to attack. So that's what Crystal will be looking to pick up the pieces from. As Kiziak is closing in the back of Yarninho. He's not using, so he's not going to make the move to turn one. Does dummy it though. And Yeast is closing in the back of Extinct, and he's going to make this move now going into turn 4. And it looks like he'll get the move to stick even before the turn. Good stuff from him. And further back upfield. The gap hasn't really gotten bigger between P3 and P4. Ivan is sticking with them as Reese gets the first penalty of the day. It hasn't gotten any bigger than the 1.6 seconds that we've seen from before. Skrillex with the battery advantage as well. He doesn't seem to be. He's been using minimal amounts. He's Lockie considering it, but decides against making the move into turn 1. I think he's just trying to compromise Skrillex' line there. And again, the same thing as we've seen before. Skrillex goes off the line and then back onto it. Lockie thinking of making the move, decides against it again. These two are very, very close. And Crystal has pulled up a slightly larger gap, now 3/10 to Ivan. Maybe the mediums are starting to fall off a tiny bit, but they shouldn't be yet. As you said, lap 16 is usually the time to pit for the medium runners, so it's probably extended to about lap 18 or 19 now. As there's not much action actually happening on the track as it stands. And if things stay the way they are, Lockie will win the championship to round out a fantastic season for him. He doesn't have to do much else, he just has to keep the car on the track. He knows that too, so he's not going to be doing anything too risky. He'd like to win here today, of course, but points are more important. As Kiziak is really closing into the back of Yarninho, he's going to make the move. There's a bit of contact into turn 4, and it looks like Kiziak has gotten away, and he has gotten the move to stick on Yarninho after being behind him for so many laps. But here comes Yarninho back into him into turn 6. Doesn't have the grip or the pace. Extinct closely following Yeast as well into sector 2. Not many spots to overtake, if any, in Sector 2. You have to be... It's more about just keeping behind with the driver and then attacking them in the DRS zones of Sector 3 and Sector 1. As Skrillex has kind of got a slight gap now. But DRS is very powerful in this track. And Crystal is closing into the back of his teammate. As Kiziak and Yarninho again are going side by side now into turn 3. And it looks like Kiziak's gotten the one with DRS. It is, as Yarninho has hardly any battery left. He's not able to attack. Lovely overhead shot there, provided by the ERO media team. And going further back up the field. Crystal again just biding his time. He's not attacking, and he's doing the right thing here. Again, just keeping his battery levels high, waiting for that moment to strike. He knows it's going to happen. It always does in these sorts of races. And Ivan is doing very well to keep with these lads with no DRS. He is using quite a bit of battery though. Again, I think doesn't make a move into turn 4. As Crystal is now using just to keep up with the boys. He doesn't want to slip out of DRS as Kizik and Yarninho again are very close to each other. And Yeast has made it past Yarninho. We didn't see what was happening there. But he is going to be looking to make a move on Kiziak now, as the tyre crossover is definitely strong in favour of the hard compound tyres. Yeast is rapidly closing in on Kiziak. We know moving to turn 1 here, but I'm expecting the colleagues to make a move into turn 4. He's not considering it. Not using it. Further field locking again, keeping it quite close with him and Skirbax. These three have been very, very solid all race. They haven't stepped a foot out of line yet. Everyone's keeping it very, very clean and steady. And we'll start to consider the medium runners will start coming in the next 5 or so laps, I'd say. And I think locking has gone 8. It's going to be very, very close here by the end of the second DRS zone. And as he keeps it steady here, and he's already using, he's going to go for it now. And here he comes. No, he's going off the battery again. As Yeast is close in the back of Kiziak. Is he going to make the move to turn 4? He is not. Extinct also close on the back of Yarninho, and Bastian is, well, he's on his own race, unfortunately. As we see the same three going through Sector 2. And Yeast is keeping with Kiziak. Now, interestingly enough, Lockheed has the battery advantage now on Skirbex. So, and as all these are running on the same compound tires, they're going to be doing the same around the same pit window. So there's no different strategies here for these three guys. This is just a pure pace competition. As Yarninho is the first of the medium runners to pit. Is very close here to the back of Kiziak, and he is going to go for the move into turn 4. Gets the move nicely done, but is it complete? Kiziak, is he going to come back at him? He is not. Kiziak has a lot of battery, and he is using though, and the two of them are going to go side by side to turn 6. As Mr. Conlon move to stick into turn 8. Very, very good stuff there. He's recovering from a poor start where he had to pit on lap 1, assuming because of the contact with Pinzio. We didn't see it, unfortunately. And Crystal closing in on the back as well, as Banked has overtaken Ivan, who has jumped into the pit lane. The next medium number 2 pit. It's going to move both the place. As again, Kiziak and Yeast going at it. Now, Kiziak has overtaken him before the line, and these two are very, very close. Or before turn 1, sorry, and these two are very, very close. Going down the second DRS straight. And Yeast is going to overtake. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Yeast is going to overtake him before the turn. And Extinct is coming on and arriving onto the scene here, looking to pick up the pieces. Extinct is using, and he's overtaken Kiziak. Kiziak dropping in 2 places because of that. As we were saying, you don't overtake into turn 1, you complete the move into turn 4. Now a gap is really starting to form between the top 3 and the rest of the field. Crystal closing in, unlocking again. As the 3 of them go around, it turns 1 and 2 and 3. And further down, Extinct quite close to the back of Yeast as well. Kiziak right behind him. These are the 2 main battles now between P1 to P3 and P5 to P7. Nobody decides to change positions or attack in this instant. Now, the last medium runner left on the track is Kiziak, and he's going to have to come in soon now, as Ivan has... Everyone behind him is pitted for fresh hards. So... we'll be seeing how this pans out for him, and if he can keep ahead of anybody. He'll probably come out P9 or P10. As Crystal is the first of the Aston Martins to enter the pit lane. And he is going to be the one attempting the undercut, as he's the first Aston Martin in. And Kiziak has also decided to pit. Now, he will not stay ahead of Ivan, but will he stay ahead of Yarninho? More than likely. And Crystal has gone on to a fresh set of medium tyres to the end of the race. Warm-up is crucial for him now. And he needs to push, because I'm assuming locking is going to come in. The 2 of them are in a party, and they probably communicated that this is the turn order. Yeast are quite close to the back of one another. And further up the field, I'm assuming Lockie is going to box, and I'm assuming Skerbeck is going to box too. Yep. No, Lockie decides to stay out and extend the stint. Interesting. Now, is he going to have undercut issues with Crystal? Now the strategies are starting to divide and go their separate ways, as Extinct has made the move. Nope, he hasn't. And Yashis has decided to pit. I thought Yeast would have extended that and went to soft at the end of it. As Ivan moves up to P6. And Crystal right on the back of Skerbeck. He should be making this move though with the warmer tyres. And he is making it into turn 4 side by side. Skerbeck slightly goes off the track. And Crystal is now ahead in this race. Just like that. Now, will he get ahead of his teammate when his teammate decides to box? That is the big question here, as Yarninho has gone past Kiziak. And I think Lockwick has set a purple sector too. And he's come in now for his pit stop. Skirbeck's close enough to the back of Crystal. Will have DRS now coming into these sectors 3 and 1. Using on the corner exit there. Lockheed has come in, Extinct has come in, Crystal set the fastest lap. Now, where is he going to be in relation to his teammate? Pegs are going to be quite tricky here. Sometimes I've seen people lose wings and lose the car. Lockheed's going to come back behind the two of them. Wow, and it's a disastrous situation for him. Now he is the trailer. As Skirbeck has a look at him, the Crystal doesn't get the stick. Two of them side by side almost. Keeping it very clean, as we've come to expect all race long. If you're Lockheed here, you shouldn't be panicking. You should just be as cool as a cucumber, because you just have to finish the race. It's not about winning on the track today. Kizek again close back to the back of the Arnino. These two have been fighting all race long. Skirbeck is closing rapidly. Is he going to make the move into turn 1? It looks like he is going to. As he sets the fastest lap as well, and he's made the move before the turn. As Crystal comes back, and they're going side by side into turn 1 and into turn 2. Skirbeck has managed to stay ahead. There's a bit of contact, and it's a lovely overhead shot. And Crystal is the one with DRS. He's no battery left. Neither of them do. Coming into turn 4 side by side. Crystal on the inside. Skirbeck's with a much better exit. Wow, and Lockheed is waiting, ready to pounce here. Crystal not letting this go just yet, but he has to concede the position, unfortunately. Oh, that was exciting racing. Almost as exciting as F5 last night. We had a 4 wide into turn 4. Right, so now can Crystal hold Lockheed up? This is the question here. Skirbeck has come and he's kind of pooped on the Aston Martin party. Lockheed has a big battery advantage on the two of them as well. Nothing else really happening lower down the field as Banks has come in for his pit stop. Will he get out ahead of Ivan? That is a question I think we'll be answering in a second, as Yeast now sets the fastest lap with a 109.9. And going to turn 4 again, no changes this time. That gap between P3 and P4 is really starting to build. But as you say that, Ivan is close to the back of Bank. He's got older, higher tyres. So he probably will lose him as Yarninho gets a penalty for multiple warnings of track limits. Patrick Varga not with us today, who was P2 in the championship, won last week in France. He will lose out on his chance to win the title. Lockheed's closest competitor on 204 points with a 23-point gap. As we see now, Lockheed making the move on Crystal going into turn 1. On newer, fresher tyres. Is Crystal going to have an answer for him going into turn 4? I don't think so. He hasn't got the battery, unfortunately, and he is going to concede the position. As Kvyat gets past Yarninho. But is Yarninho going to come back? Kvyat, we'll see now. It seems to be very, very close. We can't see from this angle. As Kvyat has managed to defend the position, but they're going to go side by side into turn 6 now, by the looks of it. No. Pace of this top three has absolutely been fantastic. Look at this gap they're building. And against boys, as Lockig sets the fastest lap, going side by side into turn one. He's got the inside, and he is going to try and make the move stick here, but Skirbex is not relenting here. Bank now sets the fastest lap, and there's a tiny bit of contact there as they're going to turn four. Lockig will have DRS on the main straight here, the second main straight. Crystal also waiting in the wing, closing in as Lockig's gotten the move to stick. Great stuff from him. Crystal waiting in the wings, hoping for some shenanigans to happen between the two drivers. As Lockig gets a time penalty. Lele. Oh my. Wow, that shakes up things. After doing all that work to get ahead, unfortunately he's given himself a 3-second time penalty. As Vries gets another time penalty. Bastian, you are not representing F5 well today, mate. Crystal closing in. Isn't going to get the move done here. The two of them are absolutely, their batteries are cooked. Lockig making his defensive move. No position change going into turn 4. And this is the only battle on track right now. Everyone else has over a second gap. If you're Lockig here, even though you've gotten the penalty, you shouldn't be panicking. You should just be understanding that it's fine. P3 here doesn't make a difference to you. All you have to do is literally finish the race at this point. As Skirbex is closing in on Lockig, and he's going to have DRS now. He's going to make a move into turn 1. He's very, very close, and it looks like he is going to take the inside line. And he has made the move. And he's made the move to stick as well. Now, is Lockig going to come back into him in the second DRS zone? Yeast gets a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Lockig making his move already side by side, and he's going to make that move stick well before the turn. Crystal dropping back, unfortunately, a bit now for him. Multiple drivers now, 5 drivers with penalties, half the grid. Lockig wants to win this on track today. He wants to seal this on his own terms and style. He's going to have to pull a bit of a gap if he wants to do so. Another 2.5 seconds with 9 laps to go. Extinct is trying to get within the 1 second of Yeast. And Yeast needs to build 2 more seconds of a gap to keep the position. And again, are we going to see a move into turn 1? Enduro following, maybe thinking against it this time. It just doesn't stick when you make the move into turn 1. It's almost countered by the second DRS zone. And he is going to try it now on the straight. Just doesn't have the battery, but has a look. Further down the field, Yeast is quite close to the back of Ivan, half a second, and he will have DRS when they get to sector 3. Banked is probably reading a book or something while being on his own on an island. As the two Aston Martins have a significant battery advantage over the Williams of Skirbex. And he's using here. And is he going to make the move into turn 1? It looks like he's going to try it again, taking the inside line. Going to try and force Lockig a bit wider, but Lockig just sits behind him. I think he's just going to bide his time here because he does have more ERS. going down Reto Pusta. And he is using, and he's probably going to get this move to stick well before the turn, which he has done, yeah. Further down, Yeast has made the move on Ivan into turn 3. Now then, they are also going to Reto Pusta on the DRS straight. Both drivers using, wow, significant battery advantage for Ivan here. But doesn't get the move to stick. They are wheel to wheel. And behind them, Extinct is waiting in the wings, waiting to pick up the pieces as well of this skirmish between these two drivers. Now, this seems to be the closest fight we have on track. Extinct has gone past Ivan as Ivan has gone off the track. Sorry, I've missed that. And just as we said, the third driver in the queue, waiting for the mistake from somebody, just to pick it up. Sometimes it's just about worrying about keeping yourself on track and letting everybody else make the mistakes. As Lockig has lost the place to Skurbex again into turn 1. And again, he's got the battery advantage going into turn 4. Down this DRS straight here. And he's got the outside this time, and Skurbex has conceded the position well before the turn. Further down the field, Yeast is starting to break away from Extinct. He will have DRS he's not using. Doing similar battery levels. Just trying to keep with him. Recharge the battery. Make an attack in a lap or 2. As again, Banks is probably reading Harry Potter or something in his spare time. Using a bit of battery in Sector 2. Just enjoying life. Extinct has made the move past Yeast. With P6 seemingly secure for him because he now has the gap on Ivan. As for the field, Enduro is going to make the move again into turn 1. These two are sparring every single lap, and there's been no contact between them. It's been absolutely fantastic. Now the question is Lockheed has the battery for it to make the move? Closing. He's going to take the inside line for turn 4. And is he going to make the stick? Skurbex has gotten the better exit. Same as he did with Crystal when they went side by side here. Going into 6, 7. Skurbex has gotten the move to stick. Excellent stuff from him as Yeast has gotten past Extinct into turn 4 as well. And them two also having a great battle. Skurbex running the Aston Martin party. And as it stands, Lockig, 4 laps to go, and you are the PS F3 ERO champion. The second champion to start up this season in the PlayStation tier division. Extinct is closing into the back. Further up the field, Lockig again closing in. Just doesn't have the battery, I think, to make it stick. Neither does Skurbex, actually. And let's see what Extinct can do here. Lockig very, very close to the back of Skurbex now, and he's going to be thinking about making a move himself into turn 1 as Skurbex has done the last few laps against him. Crystal starting to think maybe it's do or die time for him as the blinking red light of Skurbex is flashing to see he has not got any battery left. Lockig hasn't got a whole lot left himself, and Crystal has half his battery left. Lockig is going to be using, and he's going to try and make the move into turn 4, as we have seen many a time here between these two drivers this race, and he's gotten the move to stick. Very, very clean stuff from these guys. 3 laps to go. No need to be a hero here. Just take it steady and bring her home. Extinct closing in as Yarninho has come in for softs and a wing change. He's going to try and steal fastest lap. Every driver who finishes today will earn points as Extinct is closing in the back of Yeast. Going to try and stay with him for Sector 2. Has a significant battery advantage. As further up the field, Skirbeck has been overtaken by Lachlan. And he's going to make the move again before turn 1. Now he doesn't have any battery to defend now into turn 4, and it might have been a better idea just to hold back. And Lockie hasn't got a whole lot on himself left, but he's going to make this move well before the turn. Crystal's just not even using. I think he's just waiting for. He's just hoping for a shunt at this point. And we will see that Ivan is hurrying along. A bit away from that Extinct body. And Kiziak as well. They're quite quiet races. Nothing exemplary. As I'm assuming Yarninho is now going to try for his fastest lap attempt. And he's burning as Skirbeck has again gotten past Lockie going into turn 1. And I think we've seen this story before a few times, folks. Now it's not even halfway through the straight and Lockie's gotten past him as Extinct has gotten past Yeast well before turn 1. Similar batteries. This is just an outright battle of pace and traction control. Yeast with DRS, and he's not going to fight the move by the looks of it. No. Ivan has also now come in for softs. Maybe he's also going to say do his best George Russell impersonation and try to take the fastest lap away. And Bastian up to P8. Good man yourself. As Yarninho, as expected, has set the fastest lap with the soft compound tyres. Ivan will be trying to steal that away from him. And this is going to be very, very close as we got 3 wide going into turn 1. Crystal has now taken the lead into the last lap, followed by Skirbeck, then Lockig. And he has finally used some of that battery that he's been storing up for quite a while, and he is going to have to use it to defend for his life as Skirbeck is right on the back of him here going into turn 4. On the second DRS straight as Lockig is right behind as well. No battery to attack, unfortunately, as Crystal is going to make the move stick. Excellent stuff. Super, super stuff from the German. As a yellow flag in sector 1, and that looks like Yeast has come off and he has lost a bit of his wing as well, unfortunately, as Kiziak has gotten a time penalty. Past him. That's an unfortunate race from as we missed Lockig getting past Skirbeck, and Skirbeck and Lockig are fighting in sector 2 here, coming up to turn 12. And that is going to do it. Crystal is going to cross the line in P1, followed by Skirbeck. However, it is not going to be enough today, with it being now confirmed into the history books. Lockig launch, Paul Nadler is your ERO PS F3 Season 9 champion. Congratulations to him. Jean Goring Crystal will finish second in the standings, and Aston Martin are also going to be constructors champions as well. The Germans absolutely dominating this tier. Congratulations. Bang crossing P4, Extinct crossing P5, but after an excellent battle with Yeast. Kiziak 6th, Yeast 7th. Bastian Breeze trying to build a gap to Ivan, but it's not enough. unfortunately. As Ivan does set the fastest lap, the fresher, softer tyres, and the Arnino is going to come in. Everyone today finished, scored points. Very clean race overall, apart from the lap 1 incident, which we actually didn't see, unfortunately, with Pinzio DNFing from the first lap. First turn. Driver of the day extinct. A lot of contenders there for driver of the day today. Top 3 were amazing, and they deserve to be on the podium in a league of their own today. No question about it. Crystal winning on the day, but unfortunately losing out in the bigger fight. Just to round out Lockig's season, he's had now, that's his 5th win of the season. Some amazing results, winning in Suzuka, in Barcelona, Singapore, Imola, and now in Interlagos. Stepping on the podium is a common occurrence for him. It's his 10th podium of the season. It's Crystal's 8th. Crystal also having a very solid season, winning in Kota, winning in Baku, and in Hungary. So to round out our top 10 finishers, 1st Crystal, 2nd Skerbex, 3rd Locking, 4th Banked, 5th Extinct, 6th Kiziak, 7th Yeast, 8th Ivan, 9th Vriz, and 10th is Yarninho. Our 2 DNFs were Fatnik, who retired in the pits, and Pinzio, who lost it into turn 1, lap 1. Well, F2 is going to be starting soon with, let's have a check, Pironi Ville leading the championship by 31 points, followed by Jericho and everyone's favourite commentator Cameron Don in P4, hoping for a strong showing from them, which is going to be starting quite soon. And I thank you for tuning in today, and we hope to see you again. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed the clean racing that was definitely on display today, consider joining ERO in our Discord server and subscribing to the YouTube channel. And that will do us for today. Thank you very much, and good night.